So, hello, teammates. Welcome to the fourth quarter. You guys already know the goal is for this series to educate, inform, and hopefully entertain the one or the other of you who are interested in European basketball. And it doesn't matter if you're an aspiring Euro vet or someone who's never been over here or just a casual fan. Hopefully, something you'll see can entertain you or inform you, and at the very least, maybe it's something that can educate someone else that you know. So that's the primary goal of this series. My guest for tonight's fourth quarter is actually a person who I knew that I would have on before I was even finished with the concept. I was a guest on her Instagram Live series a couple of months ago on Level Up, and I applaud her for her work that she does behind the scenes of European basketball as a players' rights activist. Jori Davis is my guest. She's 32 years old. She is currently playing in Italy, and much of her work as an activist is done through Wevolv. You can find that also on here on Instagram, where I'm sorry, not Wevolv, Wevolv, and she is the CEO of that, and she does a lot of good work for players behind the scenes, and a lot of stuff, good stuff coming in the future from her as well. I know she's got huge plans for the company. This is her 11th season overseas, and she's played in countries such as Switzerland, Greece, Israel, Romania, and of course Italy. I asked Jori to come on and discuss from my book, this one right here, same name, different game, about preseason and European lifestyle. So basically, what to expect for your first professional season, the preseason of your first professional season in Europe, and what it's like living in Europe at the beginning. So now it's time for me to get my guest on in here. There we go. Rory, how
Hey,
you doing?
hey, I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I am thrilled to have you on. You know that. Um, yeah, I mean, you and I talk quite often, and we've got some big plans coming in the future, but we won't say anything about that right now. I just want to
Right.
throw that bone out there for the viewers. But
Definitely
I'm really excited to have you on. You know, I think very highly of you, and I appreciate you
appreciate it.
taking some time out of your day. Did you just come from practice? Did you have practice or anything?
Yep, we just got out of practice, so I had to come here quick. But no, I always make time for those that are part of the tribe. Definitely. So I appreciate being on.
Okay. Um, how's the season going so far?
It's going all right. Some stumbles in the beginning. New teams and some new players to City I. So, but I think the second half we're gonna turn some things around. So, but all in all, I'm healthy. The place is good. Team paying me on time. Everything good professionally. So that's always a blessing.
That's important. Hey, so before we start, there have been some really big rule changes as far as FIBA is concerned that I want to touch base with you on. But can you tell us really quick what Wevolve is about, and then also touch a bit about the rule changes in European basketball as far as agents and players and the fees that are paid go.
Definitely. Wevolv is a private ethos that we're building for global athletes that allows them to manage their careers and their unique lifestyles. As we know, the game is becoming borderless. So we are a software and tech company, but we are very much rooted in social impact. The key is definitely education, educating athletes on their rights, educating them on what's being done and how they can elevate and monetize or utilize it to leverage things outside of just the court. And so we will be creating things that are coming in 2022 that are very digital and forward looking. But of course, for now, we just try to put some educational stuff out, try to tell stories and kind of build this ecosystem. With the new rules, that's something that definitely we knew was coming since last year, but we waited till now to kind of put it out there. The rules, I feel FIBA have the players in mind. Of course, a lot of players are wondering if it comes out of their pockets. I'll do a video shortly after this IG live, but the money has always been coming out of our pockets. Those that aren't informed don't know this. You know, it's a business. You have a salary cap of what you can spend on a player, and you get paid less because they
Right.
have to take into account what your agent has to be paid. The
Exactly.
ability to have non-negotiable contracts now allows you to say, okay, we have an agreement agent. You get 3% once I get 50% of my money. You get the other 2 once I get 100% of my money. And then you get 5% if you find me sponsorship deals. These are the types of things we're potentially going to now be able to do with our agreements with our agents. We know a lot of bad agents now cause athletes to be locked in for 2 years, but don't even find them jobs. With the 30-day rule now a player can, if they don't find them jobs within 6 months or less, they have the right to fire them and get another job if they hear about something. We know this happens all the time in the business. So
Right.
there are a number of things with the non-exclusive contracts, the 30-day rule now. Also, when we say players have to pay their agents, again, it's not necessarily saying that now you need to try and get more money. You have always been getting less money to compensate that agent. What
Right.
FIBA's trying to protect us from is that agents have taken your money and team money because they've been consultants for teams while they hold you locked in player contracts. So basically, you've been locked into things while they can freely make money in the market. They're trying to even that playing field. And of course, our job is to educate. Our job is to build this community the best way we can. And those are some of the things that are new with the rules and amongst other things. But FIBA, I think, has really tried their best here. And I know agents are upset. Maybe some players that aren't truly informed are upset. But again, we need to just continue to educate, and things will continue to evolve in our favor, hopefully.
Exactly. And I think the biggest thing is just the education part, and it's probably going to take some time before it builds up and everybody
Right.
trusts these new rules and fully understands. That's why it's so important, the work that you do with Revolve that really gets out there the message and the truth,
Mm-hmm.
so that these players, especially young players who are not as experienced, that they can learn and understand that there's another way, and it's not always what the agent or the team say.
Right. Definitely.
Okay, so we're going to get started now. The question round will last 10 minutes. That's why it's called the fourth quarter.
Okay.
There's no time limit for your answer, but just keep a note, we're keeping it to about 10 minutes. After the initial 10 minutes, then we'll go into overtime, where I'll ask you
Mm-hmm.
some rapid fire kind of questions, very simple rapid fire questions to get to know you a little bit better. And that'll be it. So
Awesome.
you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Jump ball. Let me start the clock. Okay. So I know you got drafted to the WNBA by the Indiana Fever, but before you got on the plane to cross the ocean, did you feel you were mentally prepared for basketball becoming your job? Like no school, no one that you know around you. Were you mentally prepared?
Um, I wasn't fully mentally prepared, but I would say I was a little bit more prepared compared to other athletes leaving America because I had already played and lived in the UK partially. However, I wasn't mentally prepared to now go into a place that they didn't speak English fully. Of course, the UK, was a little bit easier, but I wasn't completely mentally prepared. But I did have a little bit of experience under my belt as far as going to high school and living abroad.
Did your agent prepare you for what to expect when you got overseas, or were you kind of flying blind? Do you think your agent prepared you?
No, no. My agent gave me the contract. Um, I signed it, told me a little bit about it. It was going to be fun, and that was it. It sent me my flight information, connected me with the manager, and I was on my own from there. No preparation, no type of rookie initiation for her players, nothing like that. It was just you know, go ahead, do work. Then when things were kind of rough in the very beginning, it was just like you need to score.
I
That
mean,
was the advice.
I'm by no means an agent basher at all,
Yeah.
but it's really crazy because so many people that I've talked to, so many basketball players that I've talked to, men and women, that have all said the same things, that they were not prepared
Hmm.
on coming overseas. They may have known some minor things, and now with the internet, you can definitely check things out on your own, which I think you should
Right.
do. But of course, the part of what an agent does is to inform their clients on what they're about to face. And I think that's something that for the future, that's something that we can build on and tell these young players, like, ask questions, ask these things that you need to know. So I think, uh, yeah, I've heard that far too many times that people were unprepared for what they were about to experience. What kind of, oh, I'm sorry, how long after you got off the plane did you have your first practice?
I believe it was the next day. Once I got off the plane, I actually went surfing with one of my veteran teammates because I was in Israel. We were right near Tel Aviv and Rishon. So the first day I did not practice, but the next day, I believe we had practice. And actually, I don't think I got my physical right away. So technically, I practiced. So for anyone watching, that means the contract is now underway if they
Yeah.
make you practice before you get that physical done. So yeah, I went surfing, and then the next day I had practice.
Did jet lag play a role in your readiness?
Um, I mean, for me, I think I was a little jet lagged, but not extremely. I actually never really experienced jet lag. Like I've seen a few players of my teammates experience it. Maybe just my natural sleep pattern. I don't know. But I was partially jet lagged, but I had time to adjust. The practices in Israel weren't that difficult at the time because I was young coming from college. So, when you're fresh out of college, everything is like, this is the practice. This is easy, coming D1 to the practices abroad.
Right.
But a little jet lag, but I didn't have a hard time in particular
What,
with it.
I mean, you were coming from training camp from Indiana Fever and things like that as well, so you were probably in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I was in really good shape. And once I was cut and released, I stayed at IU Indiana to work out and really got ready to prepare myself to be a pro. So I was in really good shape when I
How
arrived.
did how did the domestic players treat you as a foreigner when you first got there?
Um, my domestic players were really nice. They were really cool. Again, in Israel or any local, when you go to a certain country, local players have had their experience with past
Right,
Americans. So, of
right,
course, they have their perceptions of who you're going to be, what you're going to like. And, you have to be proactive in letting them know who you are. Of course, as a rookie, I didn't know that. I just
right,
started to try to let them know who I am. I'm not like
right.
everyone else who you think. But they had their perceptions. However, they were really cool. I had really good the Israeli players. They're fun. We had good times. Of course, that year they did have the lockout where the Israeli players were kind of fighting to make sure they have a place on the court. But I didn't have any issues with any local players in Israel. They were all very, very open and welcoming.
Do you have any crazy stories from, like, preseason conditioning or anything like that? Because I mean, when I first came over, it was crazy. We were doing crazy stuff that I had never even heard or seen or wanted to do, and I've not wanted to do since. So, did you have any crazy stories on conditioning, like being out on the track or things like that that
Mm.
you hadn't really experienced before?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it wasn't my rookie season. This happened. We practiced, I think, 2.5 hours, and right after we had to go outside on concrete and do a 30-minute jog around the hilly. I was like, yo, and it's
Sounds
not. I'm not.
familiar.
If I was a rookie, I would have been like, I can take it. But I was a little older when this happened. I'm like, look, I can't. My body can't take this right now. Like this is ridiculous. We just went 2.5 hours up and down practicing, and now you want to go outside on concrete to run in these
Yes,
hills. It was
yes.
ridiculous, but yeah, that's one thing I've kind of gone through. But truthfully, I haven't played in Poland. I hear some of their preseasons are tough. Um, I know maybe Turkey. Some people say their preseasons have been tough, so I haven't played in those countries. So luckily, I haven't had a crazy, crazy preseason. But the 2 of these are enough for me. That
Right.
still weighs on your body.
Um, So how were the medical conditions your first year out? Did you feel like, of course, coming from a very good D1, you had very top-notch physios, you had tape, you had ice bags, you had
Mhm.
everything. How was the situation when you got over to Israel that first preseason? Did you bring anything
Yeah.
with you?
No, I didn't bring anything with me. I mean, I was coming out of college. I didn't have any money to bring anything, to buy anything to bring with me. We didn't have great physios. You know, of course, you have the ice bags. You don't really have Tech. All these things. I don't even think Tech was out when I was a
No.
rookie, truthfully. So it was just ice and stretch. And again, when you're a rookie, it's cool because I was healthy. I was a rookie. My body was good. I didn't have any injuries in college, so it wasn't like I was coming with past injuries. So truthfully, I was blessed that year. I don't think I dealt with anything actually, but we
Yeah,
didn't have anything. We had the bare minimum. There was
yeah,
nothing really provided.
that's sometimes a really big downer, especially when you come from the States that first year and you're like, who's taping my ankles? And it's like your coach is taping your ankles.
Yeah, yeah. You got to find ways to protect yourself and
Right,
your body, and within practice, protect yourself. Being smart, there's a lot of little things you kind of have to do in order to compensate for the lack of recovery options and
right.
resources.
How many preseason games did you have that first preseason? Did you have a lot?
Israel, I don't think we had a lot of preseason games. I mean, I think when I got to Israel, it was just kind of like you practice and then you went straight into it in Israel. You went straight into the season. Usually, on average, throughout my career in general, I've had, like five, maybe 3 to 5 preseason games. That's pretty normal.
Pretty
But
standard, yes.
yeah, yeah.
Was it difficult for you that first preseason to adapt to the European game, or how was it for you changing your game to the European style?
So, I guess in a sense, partially I had access to the European style when I was in England my rookie season, my rookie high school. When I was a rookie in high school, I was in England, so I kind of had a little bit of experience with the European style. But in Israel, truthfully, there are certain leagues that the European style of play doesn't really hurt you if you don't know. Because in Israel, it's really kind of a league for the Americans in a sense. They don't really play the European style there. It's very
Right.
one on one. They run. It's about scoring a lot of points. So that season, my rookie season, actually, I didn't realize I needed to adjust my game as much because of that type of league. And I hear, maybe in Turkey a little bit as well. It's similar. However, when I did get to Europe, it was just more so, I had to adjust to knowing that you got to knock down corner threes, or adjusting that, hey, less dribbles,
Right.
which again, those were things that were natural in my game already. I was already a one dribble pull up, or, 1, 2 dribbles get to the basket. So those were things that, worked in my favor. However, there were small things, how to execute the pick and roll, making sure I keep the spacing, little things that the European game really appreciates, and being able to score with less amount of dribbles as possible. Those are things I had to adjust to and learn how to still be successful for my career, but also play the game that the coaches really wanted.
Okay, I know you enjoy a good meal. How was your reaction to the food when you got to Israel?
Man, I mean, they have some good food in Israel. I've gone to a few Shabbat dinners, and of course, the fish, the hummus, the bread that they have. Um, I love the hummus with the olives, and then you eat the bread and stuff like that. The good meat they had as well. Some of them, certain days they did have meat, but the fish was definitely good. Shabbat dinners were amazing, and then also Israel, they have a bit of a Americanized
Right,
culture when it comes to the
right.
food. So I was able to find, different things. I could find wings, American, pub to go eat and stuff like that. They had good Chinese food, Japanese sushi spot that we love, Soho House. So um, I was okay. I was fed well there. But yeah, the Israeli food tradition for Shabbat dinners was definitely my favorite when I was able to find someone to let me in their home.
Where did you go your second year? Because then you were somewhere where it wasn't English as a dominant language. So how did you adjust to that part then in your second season?
Yeah, that my second season, I actually went to Romania, Târgoviște, which is in the middle of kind of nowhere. It's like 45 minutes from Bucharest, and it was tragic. Yeah, they did not speak English, and it was the normal. It was practice. I did have a meal in my contract, so there was a little restaurant attached to the gym where I get the soup. They used to make the salmon with potatoes and broccoli like plate, and then shoot, that was my second year, so I was eating this one pizza spot. Like I'll go get a pizza, just eat it, which is terrible. Don't do that. But I was young. I was
Yeah,
young, and
of course.
so I was getting that pizza, going home and just sitting watching TV, then waiting to the next practice. The unhealthy routine as a player. But it was nothing really to do. And I didn't have a car in my contract, so even if I did, everything was too far for me to go anywhere. So yeah, it was really really tough. That was a year. The food was not great. I think I went to this hotel and ate this, like they did have this good curry chicken with like rice that I would eat, and then Greek salad. That was like my fun
Your
day to
staple,
go.
right?
Yeah, that was like, I'm gonna go get the curry chicken and rice today. So
What would pro Jory tell just out of school Jory about preseason, your first year over?
um, definitely assert your dominance. Assert your dominance. This is not college. Despite you know understanding the concept of team, despite knowing what it takes to win championships and stuff, this is not that. You have to assert your dominance. You have to gain the respect of your teammates, and then also assert your dominance because it's going to help you be as aggressive as possible when you're ready to start the season. Um, don't get caught up in the fun. It is new, but definitely balance it. Enjoy it, but also stay locked in on your goals because this year can make or break everything for the rest of your career. Um, and then definitely the next thing, don't talk too much. Um, you know, Emotion things, whatever. Find a sounding board that is far removed from this business, your teammates, the locker room. Find a family member or someone that you can have and share all your internal struggles, emotions when you're mad at someone, but don't share that in the locker room to a coach, to a manager, nobody. Like, it sucks, but until
Yeah,
you can
sometimes those
guarantee,
things can be used against you.
yes, until you can guarantee that you truly have a real ally within that space, you know, keep your mouth shut. And when it's time to release that, find someone that's far removed from this business to release that too. And other than that, just have fun, stay confident. You're here for a reason, so do what you
That
got to do.
that's a good point because I got a quick follow-up question. How was it for you that you were then the focus of attention? Because now you're coming over as a foreigner, your first year over. And how was it that you've got everybody paying attention to you, everybody looking at you, that especially during the preseason, especially to see if you were good enough, if you're worthy of the contract you received.
Mm-hmm.
How was it for you to know that you were a focal point instead of one of the team?
I mean, I think for some of us, like we come from like I was the focal point in college as well, so I was aware of that. I think what I had to realize was that my teammates, everyone wanted to be the focal point as well. and, and so it's like they can't, not no one's gonna now say, no, we know you should be the focal point and we're gonna all work to get you that. So I had to realize that, okay, everyone else wants to be the focal point, and it's because of the business, it's because of this. So for me, I was in the beginning like trying to be a teammate, and trying to like be like, when you come in as a rookie in college, it's like, let's be a teammate, let's gain the respect, then we gonna move our way. No, you can't do that. There was particular one girl, she was scoring, but she was taking like 30 shots. And despite my efficiency and everyone saying like, Jori, you need to do more, I was like, well, this is how it's going. So it was the opposite for me. It was really like I needed to force myself more to be like, look, you gonna I'm in here. So you're gonna have to move aside a little bit because our success is predicated on that as well. But
Exactly.
truthfully for me, coming from being the go-to player in college, it was second nature. It wasn't something I had to learn. I think it was just more so the practices and everything that everyone wasn't held accountable as we
Right.
were as an
There's a
import.
different level
Yeah, it's a
for different
different
players.
accountability. And
Right.
that's the part that I was like, that's crazy, because in college you might be the one that, all right, we know you have to do what you have to do. You might be the most talented, but everyone's still held accountable for their role.
Right.
Whereas you're now held accountable for things that at times you shouldn't be, because it's
Exactly.
a team and not one person can't win games. So I had to learn that and learn how to balance that. And so that was probably the piece where, there was, you can't get emotional or mad about it. It's just how it is as
It's
of
the
now.
business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for the first round of questions. Thank you very much. Now we're going to go into overtime to get to know you a little bit
Definitely.
personally. Um, Name your all-time WNBA starting five.
Oof, that's tough. I'm gonna
Well,
go
position
with,
doesn't matter. Just
okay.
a five.
Yeah, definitely going with Cynthia Cooper, Simone Augustus, Lisa Leslie. I'm gonna go with I gotta go with Diana at the two, and then I'm gonna go with my point guard is gonna have to be, gotta go with Pokey, gotta stick with the
Okay.
Louisiana connection.
Okay, I got you on that one. Speaking of Louisiana, um, you got courtside seats for the Pelicans or seats at the 50-yard line for the New Orleans Saints. Where are you going?
The Saints. Who that all the way?
What basketball player would you compare your game to, male or female?
Ooh, yeah, I've never really done this one. Um, I guess, back in the day, I used to more so watch Carmelo. Obviously, I'm a guard, but
I can see that.
I
That's nice.
use my strength. So I
Strength.
used
Yeah.
to watch Carmelo with his one dribble pull ups, how he used his off the screen to quickly pull up mid range. That was my game. So a small version of Carmelo. That's who I kind of used to model some of my game after.
Okay. LeBron, Kobe, or Jordan?
Kobe.
Kobe. Best thing about being a professional.
Um, the lifestyle, the freedom. You get to enjoy the freedom, but also you get to build wealth. And when I mean wealth, not money, I mean the people. Wealth is much more than money. So as a pro, you get to leverage that pro tag to really meet a array of people. Which, if you utilize it right and keep in contact with them, you can definitely finish the game with a lot of wealth when it
Yes,
comes to that.
indeed. I respect that answer. The worst thing about being a professional, or is there something bad about being a professional?
I'll say one of the disadvantages
Okay.
to being a professional is that as of now, there hasn't been a pathway to really balance being that professional and getting ready for life after. I'll say that there has not
The
been,
transition.
in yeah, in my opinion, that no one's found that key thing of how we actually can leverage being a professional to get ready to transition. So that is something that in the back of your mind, you're kind of not fully preparing yourself for when the game stops, because you know it's going to stop. You can't do it for the rest of your life. So
Exactly. What was your welcome to European basketball moment where you were like, oh, this is crazy?
Welcome to European. I mean, it has to be more so when I got to Romania. I mean, I got when I got to the airport, I didn't know who was picking me up. No text. It was a random dude like you're Jori, and I'm like, I guess I got to go with you. And I hope. And he was smoking like a chimney in the car. I was like, this is not. I think I'm ready to go back. So once I got there, then got to Turkmenistan with all the dogs, I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, this is European basketball. This is what they said. So yeah, that's
For me,
definitely my welcome.
for me, it was my first time in our home gym when I walked in
Hmm.
for practice, and I mean I played at a mid-major 5,000 seat arena, whatever, and our gym in Austria was maximum 500 people, and I was just like, where all the people gonna be sitting at? Like this
Yeah.
is small. This is small. That was my moment where I was like, okay, I'm not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah.
So, what's your most memorable basketball moment so far as a professional?
Whew, man.
I know I'm hitting you with the heavy ones, make you think.
Yeah. This is tough because we have
You got a
some good
lot.
ones. Actually, I've had some good moments, but I will say the best part was when I actually played in Switzerland, and we finally with the club beat the top team that has been dominating that league forever. And our manager came and like jumped on me. He's a little Italian guy, because Switzerland, Lugano, we right across the border. So he
Yeah,
was our manager. And he jumped on me because, it was just a beautiful moment. They were like family to me. My teammates, they still come visit me around Europe. So that was like definitely a memorable moment. And I actually have, when he jumped on me, someone took that picture and it's like in my house,
good.
in a frame. So that's one of the moments that I always remember, and because I'm still very connected to those people. So definitely a fun moment for me.
Give me one game day superstition that you have.
To not have no superstitions.
Do you not have any superstitions?
Yeah, I don't have
Really?
any game day superstitions that kind of goes like, if last game I felt good with something, and I might do the same thing the next game. If I feel like I know when my body's feeling this way when I wake up on game day, I'm gonna do this because I know it's worked in the past. Or if I'm feeling a certain way, it's kind of like I go off the vibes, and I've learned over time based on my vibe of game day what I need to do. So if I have shoot around and I'm like kind of aggravated or whatever, I know what I need to do. If I have no shoot around and I know I'm just gonna wake up and I got a game all the way to 8 p.m., I know what I need to do for that type of game day. So actually, I don't have any real superstitions. I just kind of mix it up and try to be aware of how I feel and kind of remember those feelings so I can get myself ready for the game.
You're one of the few people that I've interviewed that said they don't really have a superstition. I was terrible. Uh, what do you typically do on an off day?
Usually, try to travel, try to get out, try to do something. Now I got Wevolv, so off days I'm trying to get some work done.
Busy.
But all in all, off days definitely get out the house, definitely go see something, eat a good meal, have some vino, listen to some music, and just relax. That's definitely a plus. That's always something I'm gonna probably do on my
Yeah,
off day.
yeah. How do you beat homesickness? Do you get homesick?
Um, I don't really get homesick. I think again, my growing up, I moved around a few times and stuff. So, but when I do feel a little homesick and everything, again, I try to immerse myself with, just go and get around some good people, eat a good meal. Um, but I think again, it's definitely accepting and embracing, this is your life. This is something that you have, and enjoy that experience. And then you're not sitting there thinking about home. When you
Living in the
start to,
moment.
yeah, when you start to enjoy, I go get a cafe. I love going and get my cafe in the morning or whatever. Now it's something you appreciate. Now it's a part of your routine, your life. when you constantly keep thinking about the routine at home, you're going to always be homesick. So I think for me, because I embraced the lifestyle and said, yeah, I'm a European, I'm an expat or whatever, I do this, I have this, and start to actually not be afraid to build relationships with people, you don't get as homesick, but you're never going to not miss home or miss the moments that you might be missing.
Right.
It's just a part of life. You can't really get rid of it.
What shoes are you currently playing in?
I'm currently playing in, I have two shoes. I have the LeBron Lows, the 15s, and then I have Brand Black, their most recent shoe, the Rare Metal Brand Black shoe. Those are two shoes I'm playing in right now.
What do you look forward to the most when you retire? Oh, did it
Um,
go out?
it just blanked a little bit, but when I retire, correct?
Yeah. What do you look forward to
Um,
most?
spending more time with my family, um, enjoying just going to the gym and doing a 30-minute workout and going out like one workout a day. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to really embracing who I'm going to be when ball's removed and spending more time with the things that I'm really passionate about, travel and athlete advocacy and discovering what's next for me. Of course, we have plans and we try to do it, but again, you don't know. So
Right,
I'm looking forward to more time with people I love, to be able to be with them when I want, to not be held down by scheduling and
right.
league games. I am looking forward to that.
Okay. That's the last question. You hit the shot at the buzzer. Yeah. And yeah,
Nice.
and I really appreciate you coming on, Jory. I could talk to you all day. I don't want to keep everybody. I don't want to keep you but I'm waiting for the day that we meet in person and we
Ah,
can go
yeah.
sit down and we can just shoot the shit.
We gonna be like we're on the porch in Louisiana. Like they were like, please, y'all had enough cafes, enough spritz wherever we are. Like y'all gotta go. But yeah, it's gonna happen because I actually have never been to Germany either, so
Yeah.
I gotta make that happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen. So I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch
Thank you.
anyway. So it's not actually a goodbye to you anyway. And for the rest of you teammates, thank you for tuning in. Of course, as usual, my call to action is to pass this information on that Jory was able to give. If something really influenced you or thought that it could be something for someone else, especially, please pass that information on. That's what we're here for, to build the community and get this information out to as many people as possible in order to educate people who are coming after me, of course, and after Jory as well. The next fourth quarter will be January 13th. The topic will be from Chapter 9, Money Management and Networking. It's going to be an interesting one. We'll discuss living within your means, um, your living expenses, and especially the things that you do not have to pay for as a professional athlete,
Mm,
which is very important to your bottom line if you're smart, and also how to grow your network, and that's becoming more and more important as the years go on. So we'll touch on those topics, and I hope everybody tunes in and tells a friend, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you, Jory.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Old head out.